Welcome everyone to going through Obi-Wan Kenobi. My name is Triple S, and in this video I'll be talking about the second episode of the first season. I'll be going through what I like and dislike about the episode, how it compares to and fits with other Star Wars media that I am knowledgeable of, and I'll also bring up anything I find interesting or noteworthy enough to mention. There might be spoilers for future episodes and other Star Wars media as well, so you've been warned. With all that said, let's begin. Number 1. Okay, just straight off, why isn't Obi-Wan wearing a disguise? I can go along with Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan not being recognised because of how different he looks 19 years after Revenge of the Sith, but the Obi-Wan here is still very recognisable as the Obi-Wan from 10 years ago, so he really should be wearing a disguise. He needs to ditch his Jedi robes and find himself a mask to wear to hide his beautiful face. That should really be one of the most famous and most recognisable faces in the galaxy. There should be wanted posters everywhere with his and other missing Jedi's faces and names on them, and don't say it's been 10 years, the Empire probably assumes he's dead and the body's just never been found, maybe fell into lava, or got shot with an Amban phase pulse blaster. If they believe there's even a 1% chance that he is still alive, they would take it as an absolute certainty until proven otherwise, so I think even 10 years later, Obi-Wan and Yoda would still occupy the top 2 spots of the Empire's most wanted list. Number 2. Connected to my previous point, people say this homeless clone trooper should have recognised Obi-Wan and tried to kill him, not because Obi-Wan's face should be incredibly well known by everyone, which it should, but because he should recognise him from the Clone Wars. From the colour and markings on his armour, it's believed he was part of the 501st Legion, Anakin's Legion of Clones during the Clone Wars, and because Anakin and Obi-Wan and their clones, the 501st Legion and the 212th Attack Battalion, worked together a lot during the Clone Wars, the likelihood of this clone having seen Obi-Wan at some point is quite high. Some believe the clone did actually recognise Obi-Wan but didn't do or say anything about it, that the behavioural modification biochip implanted in him had been removed at some point previously, or just no longer functions, meaning he didn't feel the overwhelming urge to murder Obi-Wan. I think he should have recognised Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars, even if he wasn't a 501st clone. I would assume for propaganda and morale reasons, images and video of the Jedi fighting against the Separatist droid armies would be regularly broadcast across the holonet. This would give the Jedi celebrity status as well as Heroes of the Republic status, and just as people swoon over Ewan McGregor in our universe, Obi-Wan will most likely be swooned over in the Star Wars universe and become a famous, recognisable figure. Number 3. It's a well-known piece of trivia by now, but I'll just point it out for anyone who doesn't know. This drug-dealing girl called Tetha Grigg is played by Ewan McGregor's daughter. Also, I guess in the Star Wars universe, Obi-Wan just has one of those faces that just invites drug dealers to try and sell him stuff. First it was Mouse from The Matrix and Attack of the Clones, and now this chick. I'm willing to bet even in the Clone Wars, someone tried to sell Obi-Wan drugs. Number 4. Haja. How does your pretending to be a Jedi con not attract the attention of the Inquisitors and Jedi hunting bounty hunters? Like, do you have an understanding with the Empire presence on Daiyu, and they allow you to run your operation for a cut of the money? If Inquisitors or bounty hunters arrive looking for you, do the Stormtroopers get to them first and let them know you aren't actually a real Jedi? I just seriously don't understand how you aren't dead already. Number 5. I can only assume Haja is sending this mother and her Force-sensitive son to the PAF base on Corellia that will relocate them elsewhere, because no sane person should want to willingly go to Corellia to live there. Number 6. Speaking of this mother and son, according to IMDb, her name is Nike? I don't know. And the boy's name is apparently Corran, and if you are at all knowledgeable of what is now Star Wars Legends, these names should be familiar to you. That's because in Legends there was a character called Nike Horn who had a son called Corran Horn, who was a Force-sensitive human who used to be a Corellian security force investigator, then a member of Rogue Squadron, and finally a Jedi Master in Luke Skywalker's New Jedi Order. If it is the case that this Corran and Corran Horn are supposed to be the same character, his origins have changed slightly, as Corran Horn was actually born and grew up on Corellia. He didn't relocate there as a child like this kid does. Though for some reason, instead of going to Corellia, we do see Nike and Corran on the planet Jabeam in future episodes for some reason, so I don't know. Number 7. Obi-Wan gets Haja to tell him at gunpoint where Leia could be being held, and Haja's like, yeah, you can totally trust me, go here. It totally won't be a trap or anything, and miraculously, it actually isn't a trap. Haja actually gave Obi-Wan the right information. He really is a con man with a heart of gold. Number 8. So Obi-Wan sees this alien going down an alley on their own, and then what? Beats this innocent alien unconscious and steals their clothes, pays them to strip naked. It looks like a goddamn horror movie when the focus switches from the alien to Obi-Wan standing in the background. Well, at least now he has a disguise. Number 9. At some point in the 10 years between now and Revenge of the Sith, did the Doctor cross the multiverse in his TARDIS, land on Tatooine, bump into Obi-Wan, and give him a spare perception filter to wear, because barely anyone seems to notice his presence. No one glances up when he walks onto the set of Breaking Bad in space, no one notices his tampering with this flask, and this big alien dude doesn't notice Obi-Wan grab the key fob thing off of him to get through the door he's supposed to be guarding. Number 10, carrying on from my previous point, why does this door guard feel the need to abandon his post to go check out an exploding flask? What is he going over there to do? Clean it up? Figure out what happened? Or is he just curious and hasn't ever heard the phrase, curiosity killed the loft cat? Number 11, Obi-Wan, why are you taking your goggles and mask off? Being in a restricted area, do you think this is the best time to ruin the effectiveness of your disguise by uncovering your face? Number 12, so this Zabrak, and I assume human, spot Obi-Wan sneaking about, and Obi-Wan somehow beats them both up whilst doing twirls and being really lucky that the Zabrak is apparently a pushover moron who punches Obi-Wan twice, then stops, and then is knocked out from being lightly thrown onto the floor. So during the 10 years Obi-Wan spent on Tatooine keeping a low profile, he's been taking self-defense classes? Or, I don't know, getting into wrestling matches with Tika and his Jawa buddies? Number 13, so were these two just part of the drug operation and not the kidnapping Leia and luring out Obi-Wan operation? Since when Obi-Wan pretends he's a member of the drug operation who's gotten lost, it looks like they're about to let him leave until he starts throwing hands. But the human guy at least must know something about the kidnapping plot, because he's the one who sends Obi-Wan to the wrong room. But if Flea had told him, hey, if anyone breaks in looking for a girl, send them to this room, why was he and the Zabrak about to seemingly let Obi-Wan leave, not suspecting he might be in disguise looking for Leia? Number 14, well ain't it lucky Tether gave you that free spice sample like 10 minutes ago, or else to incapacitate Flea and his goons, you would have had to use the Force, or God forbid your lightsaber to get away. Number 15, this interaction between Obi-Wan and Flea, my god. Flea's character, Vect Nokru, sounds like goddamn Draco Malfoy from Chamber of Secrets.
I didn't know that Jedi could bleed.
I didn't know you could read.
And he does the whole evil villain cliche thing of when they've caught the good guy and explain their evil plan to them, and he tells Obi-Wan how an Inquisitor had them kidnap Leia to intentionally lure him out, and the Inquisitor lady will soon be arriving. He also says, and you're bleeding all over my floor. Keyword here being my. So does this place belong to him? Like the drug operation and everything? And those guys who stopped Obi-Wan, do they work for him too? But if they do, why didn't they not know / only kind of know about the whole luring Obi-Wan plan? Why doesn't any of this make sense? It's like Obi-Wan walked into the drug lab, sabotaged the flask, and nicked the guard's fob so easily because they were all told, hey, if some shady looking guy sneaks in here trying to get into the back, just let them, okay? It's all part of the plan. But then apparently the Zabrak wasn't told a plan, and the human guy had forgotten about it, and they were going to let this intruder just leave until the fight broke out, and the human guy only then remembers being told, hey, if you spot any intruders and they say they're looking for a girl, send them to this room, it's a trap, after him and the Zabrak had been beaten up. Number 16, why does Obi-Wan say everybody bleeds before smashing the bottle of spice? Like, I know it's in response to Flea saying he's bleeding all over his floor, but he says everybody bleeds as he shows Flea this bottle of spice, as if there's some connection between bleeding and spice that he's making a sort of joke out of. Could you imagine though if there actually was a connection, and inhaling this much spice caused Flea and his goons to bleed out of every orifice? That would have been hardcore and would have made what Obi-Wan said make more sense, I think. Number 17, so Reva's arrived on Jabim, but instead of going through the door Obi-Wan went through, she goes a different way. I can only assume she didn't know about this other entrance. And it's a good job she didn't, because it gives Obi-Wan just over a minute to find and get Leia out of there, between when Reva goes in through the other entrance and when she discovers Flea and his drugged up cronies. Number 18, oh hey, is that a Cyru? Probably not, unless they've significantly changed the species from how they are in Legends, since in that they invaded from the unknown regions of the galaxy in 4 ABY, but I'm going to refer to them as a Cyru because on Wikipedia they're just called Unidentified Reptilian Bounty Hunter. Number 19, why isn't Obi-Wan checking every single door? Did he somehow figure out which one Leia was in off screen? Though he does put his hand on her door for a moment before opening it, so was he sensing if she was in there with the Force? And if he can do that, why didn't he do that before? Number 20. Oh, of course, she's gotten herself out of being tied to the chair. How though? I don't want to know, because realistically, she shouldn't have been able to. Number 21.
Where's the army?
That's exactly what I'm wondering, Leia, because that would have been the smart thing to do, Bail and Briha. Number 22. Hang on. They're leaving through the same door Obi-Wan used to go in, after having found a disguise for Leia that doesn't even cover her face. What about all those people in the spice lab? Did they completely ignore Obi-Wan again? The guard as well, was he not suspicious at all of someone leaving the area he's guarding with a child? Or did his curiosity get him killed? Or at least fired for being terrible at his job of being a guard, and they haven't found a replacement guard yet? Number 23, and of course they ditched their disguises for absolutely no reason. Wait, Obi-Wan wasn't wearing his robes under that green coat thing, he just stashed it somewhere? Well, it's a good job no one nicked off with it then. Also, I find it hilarious he tells Leia to be quiet about saying he's a Jedi out loud, when the lightsaber that clued her into that is on full display for absolutely everyone to see. At this point, I think Obi-Wan just wants people to notice it. Number 24, Leia's shocked face after bumping into Sweetens from the Muppets genuinely got a laugh out of me. Yes, I am easily amused. Number 25, I guess there must have been a small time skip between this shot of Obi-Wan and Leia and this one of Reva, since we don't see Obi-Wan and Leia dodging past the Grand Inquisitor, fifth brother and fourth sister walking towards them, nor do we see them walking away in the background behind them. Number 26, I forgot to mention this in the previous video, but I'll mention it now. This is what fifth brother looks like in Rebels, and this is what fifth brother looks like in this show. They got his Senate building looking helmet right, but I think they could have tried harder with his face. Number 27, Reva again mentions Bail Organa having a connection to Obi-Wan, which is why she kidnapped Leia, but since I talked about this dumb plot point in my last video, coincidentally also as point number 27, I shan't repeat myself here except to say again how dumb it is. Number 28, fifth brother thinking like a Sith with him assuming Reva's obsessed with hunting Obi-Wan because if she took him out that would get her noticed by the Inquisitor's superiors and get her a promotion to Grand Inquisitor replacing Pinhead here. Number 29, the Grand Inquisitor calls Reva the least of them because she came from the gutter. With us eventually learning she used to be a Jedi youngling, he must be referring to the Jedi Order when he says she came from the gutter. Kind of hypocritical of him to say this though, since he himself used to be part of the Jedi. He once was a Jedi Knight and Temple Guard until he turned to the dark side after developing a hatred towards Jocasta Nu and losing faith in the Jedi Order when Barriss Offee set off a bomb in the Jedi Temple and framed Ahsoka Tano for the crime. Number 30. Oh yeah, put your hood up, that'll stop people from recognising you. If only you had like a pair of goggles and a mask you could put on to hide your face. You know what, screw it, you might as well just strip naked, since we all know barely anyone's going to recognise you because the writing for the show is terrible. Number 31.
I want to float.
You want to float? Hold on, I gotta make a call. Hey yeah, is that Pennywise?
Time to float.
There, you happy now, princess? Number 32. Jesus Christ, no wonder Leia keeps escaping from her parents. She can't be having much of a childhood if she's already thinking this maturely for a 10-year-old. Number 33. Wait, what? How did she jump to the conclusion that she was kidnapped so they could get to Obi-Wan? I mean, she is right, but I don't understand how she got there. Why not assume his face is being broadcasted because he's trying to rescue her? If it had been her face being broadcasted, would she have come to that conclusion instead? Number 34. Oh great, another chase scene where a 10-year-old can somehow outrun an adult. At least this is a little more believable, since you can dodge through the crowd and squeeze through tight spaces easier than Obi-Wan can. Though Obi-Wan doesn't seem that bothered actually trying to keep up with her. Come on Obi-Wan, I know you're trying to keep a low profile and not draw attention, but she's getting away from you. Start shoving and pushing. Oh, wait, I guess she got turned around and actually started heading back towards you accidentally, so you actually didn't have to start shoving and pushing. Number 35. This guy recognises Leia, so I guess her face is being broadcasted along with Obi-Wan's? I mean, how else would they recognise her? Number 36. And what the hell is this blue guy even doing? Instead of just shooting Obi-Wan, he chooses to fist fight with him like a moron. Number 37, and then Leia runs right past Obi-Wan, but for some unfathomable reason, he doesn't just grab her. What the hell? This entire scene was so dumb. Number 38, hardcore parkour. I think they should have just had Reva start making her way across the rooftops by using her spinning lightsaber to fly. We've already seen the Inquisitors do that in Rebels, and it would have been less cringe than this Mirror's Edge stuff. Number 39, Obi-Wan manages to take out the Sairu, and then for some reason, 1-JAC decides to conveniently stop shooting so that Obi-Wan can save Leia from falling to her death. I guess the protocol droid must have had a glitch in his programming or something. Number 40. So, we get our first indication of Obi-Wan not being able to use the Force as easy as he used to be able to when it takes him considerable effort to use it to catch Leia. As far as I know, there is no definitive answer given for why Obi-Wan struggles to use the Force so much for the most of the show. Some say it's just because he's out of practice, some say it's because of his PTSD from Revenge of the Sith, and some say it's because he cut himself off from the Force so the Empire's Force-sensitive members wouldn't sense him and only just now reconnected to save Leia. Though I think if that were the case, not just Reva, but all the Inquisitors would have been making a beeline to the location Obi-Wan used the Force. I think they should just stick to Force sensitives being able to sense other Force sensitives only if they have a bond or deep connection between them, like Vader being able to sense Obi-Wan on the Death Star because they used to be as close as brothers. Number 41. Not only is one JAC an absolute moron for walking up to Obi-Wan instead of just shooting him, fifth brother, fourth sister, and all these stormtroopers are apparently deaf and blind to not hear and see Haja shooting the protocol droid and spot him talking to Obi-Wan and Leia. Number 42. Obi-Wan. Why are you questioning trusting Haja now when you trusted him before when he told you the truth of where Leia was being held when he so easily could have lied? Make your mind up, man. Number 43. Is Reva still parkouring her way across the rooftops? Has she been running and jumping and flipping the entire time since we last saw her? She really should have just flown with a lightsaber, honestly. Number 44. Yeah, I don't believe Reva wouldn't have just immediately cut Haja down the moment he didn't move out of her way. She's actually completely out of character here. Number 45. And she can apparently do a Kylo Ren and pull people's thoughts out of their heads. I mean, using the Force to read minds has been a thing since the OT, when Vader read Luke's thoughts and found out about Leia, but I always put that down to Vader and Luke being father and son, that he could do that. But now with both Kylo and Reva being able to extract people's thoughts, it begs the question, why didn't Vader just do this with Leia when he captured her in A New Hope, instead of letting an IT-0 interrogation unit have a go at her, since it's no longer an ability unique to Kylo now. Number 46. If someone's offering you help, you think you should take it? Since when did you become so trusting, Princess? Weren't you just running away from Obi-Wan because you didn't trust him? Number 47. I think Leia reminding Obi-Wan of Padme with her being a fearless, stubborn leader would have made more of an emotional impact if Leia had coincidentally said something Padme had previously said, either in the prequel trilogy or something from the Clone Wars as a nod to that. Number 48. Reva, stop trying to be intimidating. You really can't pull it off. Some villains can do the whole sing-songing in the name of the hiding person they're searching for to instill fear in them, but when you do it, it just comes across as so cringe. Number 49. Was Obi-Wan that well isolated on Tatooine that he never heard of someone called Darth Vader working for the Empire? Was Vader never a topic of conversation amongst the people he worked with that he walked past on the holonet? I mean, we all know that he knows Anakin is Darth Vader. He heard Sirius refer to Anakin as Vader in a hologram, and Yoda even confirms Anakin is Vader in Revenge of the Sith. It'd be ludicrous to think he didn't know this. Maybe when he smashed that bottle of spice, he breathed in some of it before he managed to get his mask on, and it made him forget that he knew Anakin was Vader. Or maybe he thought Anakin did actually die on Mustafar, but Sidious just found another apprentice and also named them Darth Vader. Number 50. Also, yes, Reva knows who Anakin Skywalker is. I'll get into how she knows this later when it's actually brought up in the show, even though I've already told you she used to be a Jedi youngling, so it isn't hard to figure out. Number 51. Oh no, she's killed the Grand Inquisitor. But what about the canon? What about him still being alive in Rebels? Yeah, we all know by now he comes back. He didn't actually die because obviously he can't. I'll get into this more when the big reveal of his survival happens in episode 5. Number 52. You know, Reva, if you wanted to stop Obi-Wan from being able to get on board that ship, you really should have put yourself between him and it. Number 53. So in this shot, she's reeing the ship and pointing a lightsaber at it, but then in this wide shot, she decides to then walk to the left a bit, then to the right, and then point her saber back at the ship. Was that really necessary, Reva? And number 54. So those were all my thoughts on the second episode of the first season of Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you think I missed something important or interesting, put it in a comment below along with your own thoughts on the episode. My most liked part of the episode goes to... wow, I guess all I can think of is Leia's shocked face after bumping into that massive alien. Yep, can't think of anything else I liked. And my most disliked part of the episode goes to, I would like to say just pretty much the entire episode, but I guess to narrow it down, I'll go with all the events surrounding Obi-Wan somehow sneaking through the drug lab and breaking Leia out. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any advice on what I could do better for the next video, please leave it in a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on Twitter at @SSS_YouTube. I'm also on Odyssey at @SSS:83, so follow me on there if that's where you prefer to watch videos. Thank you again for watching, and to see you all next time. Goodbye.